Did Victor Wembanyama do? And we got would he be aggressive? Would he establish himself in the paint? Like, that was the big question. And we got the answer. Be aggressive? Would he establish himself in the paint? Like, that was the big question. And we got the answer last night. He did not. 42% of his shots came from beyond the arc. And I thought the Knicks, with all the different bodies they had, and we talked about the size of the Knicks being different than Oklahoma City and putting them in a position where they could match up. Karl Anthony Towns was awesome. 18 points, 12 boards, 4 assists. He was critical in that third quarter comeback. Really great on the offensive glass. But Victor Wembanyama, this has been kind of an on-again, off-again thing throughout the playoffs. When he establishes himself in the paint and dominates, the Spurs win. When he's relegated to that mid-range or he's settling for threes, they lose. And so we're going to have to wait and see until tomorrow night, what type of mindset Victor Wembanyama has. But if I am Coach Johnson, I can't have him jacking up that many threes because it's a mindset. And I thought in that fourth quarter, it sure looked like the Spurs were tired, a tired basketball team. The fatigue had set in. And that's what happens when you come off a 7-game grinder against Oklahoma City and the Knicks having only played 4 games since May 10th going into game 1 of the finals last night. So just keep all of that in mind as we continue to move forward and how they're going to adjust and respond and everything. But I really do appreciate the way that the Knicks played. I mentioned it yesterday. I love their team. I love how they operate together. I like the way that they focus. It's nice. Now, Mitch Johnson after the game said fatigue was not a factor. I'm not buying it. Well, I thought Victor Wembanyama's game spoke of a guy with fatigue, right? He was settling for the three-point shot. And Jalen Brunson, a lot has been said about him. I've mentioned multiple times how much I appreciate the way he plays, being undersized, being able to get to his spots, having tremendous footwork, and being able to hit from all angles. In the paint against big bodies, from three, off the bounce. He can do everything. He's a special player who plays big-time basketball, and he's tough. He got his knee tricked last night in the first half when a couple of guys went crashing to the floor. Harrison Barnes tricked his knee. He left the court. He came back, and he was able to finish strong. Now, Brunson did not have a good shooting night. He finished with 30, but he was great in the fourth quarter. And if you want to talk about a guy who is a closer, in the postseason, in the fourth quarter, shooting 59% from the floor, 62% from three, 93% from the line. Some guys have the ability and the mindset to be a closer. Kobe Bryant was that guy. Michael Jordan was that guy. And Jalen Brunson's another example of a guy who steps up when his team needs him most in the fourth quarter and makes big plays. And I thought Brunson was great last night. The one thing I do know now, and I think it's pretty clear, we're going to have a long and very competitive series. This is going to be awesome. Game 1 was last night. Game 2 will be tomorrow. And then Game 3 will be Monday in New York City at Madison Square Garden. How lit is that place going to be with the way the Knicks played last night? All right, there you have it. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Chad Doing, a more mature Chad Doing, showing his restraint today. Coming up next, John Bladholm is going to join me in studio, and we'll talk about the Oregon Charity Championships. Hope you're enjoying your day. I had a great morning on the course, and I'm looking forward to talking with you throughout the course of the day. And how about Tom Dundon? His crew, the Carolina Hurricanes, getting ready for Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. That puck will drop at 5 on ABC. Vegas took Game 1. Almost a must-win for Carolina tonight if they want to put themselves back in a position to grab the cup. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You got the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, let's see if I have enough breath for the next 20 minutes. I just ran down the hallway to grab some headphones. Hey, Shacker, are we there? Where'd the music go? You cut the music? I don't hear anything all of a sudden. Shacker, what's going on? Are we on? Okay, good. We're on. All right, very happy to welcome back in studio my man John Bladholm, Oregon Charity Championships. What's up, brother?
How are you? Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I can't hear a darn thing.
No.
We don't hear anything, Shaq. You better figure this out. He says we're on, so I can't hear anything in my ears.
Okay.
We got a haunted studio today, just so you know.
That's all right. I can see
Thanks
for having us
you.
back.
No, it's
Love
good
being
to see
back.
you. All right, Ethan Hutchinson is in studio.
Yeah.
Is that the right last name?
Douglas.
Ethan Douglas.
I may have said Hutchinson. First day on the job. He's our intern this year. Chicago University. I just got done with his first year and got straight A's.
Chicago University.
Yeah, University of Chicago.
How are you enjoying it?
It's tricky, but it's a really fun school. So.
That's great. My nephew lives in Chicago, and he's going to take off after the summertime to go to Northern Illinois to start his education. So
He was telling me the Bears may move to Indiana.
Yeah.
Wow. They're looking for a new stadium, aren't they?
And Indiana will give them the tax write-off and stuff.
Oh, so they get, tax write-off, more money.
Yeah. Yep.
That would be tough. Are you a Bears fan?
I am because I live in Chicago, but I'm really a Broncos fan.
I'm a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
I moved out here from Denver.
Yeah, my family's been Broncos fans for a really long time.
How did that happen? They from Denver?
No, it's just my dad. I can't tell you the story, but as a kid.
Well, it's pretty simple for me. We moved to Denver when I was a kid. That's when John Elway came in the league, and it was one of those things where, for me, it was like instant love. I'm like, Dad, he's pretty good. And he's like, yeah. And then we've been able to share that, my dad and I, watching Bronco games together.
It was John Elway for my dad, too.
All right.
And he would play college.
That's great. Yeah,
Do you
Ethan's
think
my guy.
Can Bo Nix do it?
Yeah.
He can
I
do
like
it.
Bo Nix.
I love
Okay.
Bo Nix.
I mean, he would have gotten him to the Super Bowl last year until he ripped up his ankle right before the AFC title game.
That's right.
But Bo Nix is one of those guys where high character guy. Dad was a coach. He's like the perfect, in my mind, like prototype of who you want to represent your franchise. Hard
Class.
worker, shows up first, leaves last. And
That
everyone that was around him down at Oregon says the same thing. They all praise him.
It's kind of like you.
I don't think so. So what's going on? You told me this is your 5th year for the Oregon Charity Championship.
Yeah, it's our 5th year, 3rd year over in Bend, and we've added Boise. So we're calling it the Charity Championship Tour right now.
Yeah.
We've given out over $456,000 so far. This year we'll go over $700,000. This year, the Oregon Charity Championship, because of our friend Brad Parker at Lazy Boy, we've raised the purse to $100,000 just at the Oregon Charity Championship. So every single charity is guaranteed at least $1,000. First place team gets $30,000. So we've quickly gone from $50,000 purse here to $100,000 purse. The golf has gotten better. You've promised me 4 years in a row you'd play, and so this is the 5th year. And if you don't play this year, we're done.
Well, it's going to count. 2 things matter. One, schedule. So you got to make sure you schedule at the time it's going to work for me. But also, we need good weather this year, too.
Yeah, so you're one of those fair weather guys.
I am.
Do you play Heron Lakes in the rain?
I have.
Okay, so
My favorite, it's just golf changes when it's raining outside. It changes everything.
it's definitely not as much fun.
Wet clubs, wet grips. I'm fragile mentally. You got to understand that. I'm very fragile. So when I'm throwing a curveball, it messes with me.
No, I knew that in year one. You just didn't become fragile.
No, it's been like that for a long time.
It's been a long
I'm not
time.
exactly Tiger Woods when I'm standing over a 4-footer. Let's just put it that
Yeah,
way.
you're drinking coffee out of a sippy cup. I know I know what kind of shape you're in.
It's got to be. I know when you first started, like you had a vision, but is this becoming even better than what you had visualized when you got this started?
Yeah, I think absolutely. The lessons learned, the people we've been able to meet, the charities even the smaller charities that don't have a voice because they don't have the budget, it's allowed us or allowed them to kind of spread their wings and inspire all of us to do better, to give more. There's a lot of people out there hurting, as we all know, in so many different ways, whether it's cancer or food insecurities, homelessness, as we all know. So yeah, it's exceeded expectations in a lot of ways.
That's great. Ethan, what's been your perception of the Oregon Charity Championships and the way that you have all these charities coming together to be able to work and support one another?
Well, I think it's really great when you bring together a large group of people to make a difference in the community and with charities. And it's been great to meet John and Athena today as my first day.
Day one?
Yeah.
We met 2 hours ago.
Uh-huh.
His cousin of an uncle works for Tillamook and said, you got to meet this kid. He's smart, but he gets his hands dirty. And first time we talked, I instantly knew he's a lot brighter than I am, which isn't saying a lot, to be honest with you. But we quickly, he's like, I'll do anything you need me to do, even in the rain, not like you. But so we met him today. He walked in. He's polite. Once again, throw anything at me. I think he said, would you say I have no floor and I have no ceiling?
Yeah, no floor, have no ceiling.
Have no floor, have no ceiling.
That's a good saying.
Yeah, so I had to look it up what it meant, but it meant great things. So we as we grow, we've also added, we worked with the Sam Day Foundation, Lorna and Bob.
Yeah.
We partnered with Dan Lanning a month ago down at Eugene Country Club. I had never heard Dan Lanning speak before. If you have not, you could see how he's a great recruiter and a great coach. He talked about that the X's and O's don't matter near as much as giving back and helping people. I came away inspired. He put people in tears. And so those are the things, those are the benefits that we also get out of it that make a difference in your life. So we've added the Sam Day Classic for all the right reasons, the Boise Charity Championship, which is going great. Love Boise, by the way. Really
Boise's
nice.
a great area.
Oh, my gosh.
Beautiful.
Booming area. Beautiful river that runs through the middle of it, and people have opened their arms and really helped out. So, we compress a lot of events into a small period of time. So to have this young man join our staff today is going to help Athena and ourselves immensely.
I love the drive from here all the way out to Boise, going through the gorge down 84. It's one of my favorite drives all the way out, about almost 6 hours. But the whole drive, for the most part, is beautiful.
Well, and I do it from Bend, and so you go through a town called Vail. Yes. Which you're I even looked it up, how many people live here? Not a lot. And then next to Vail, you got Burns, and I love just the piece of being out there and wondering what people are doing to get by. So, we're really enjoying it. We're excited about this year, September 28th. So if you want to check your calendar at any point now, we'd love to have you out there. And in charities this year, with a $100,000 purse, we're going to pull again two charity names. So any charity that is not in the tournament at this point can go to OregonCharityChampionship.com and register. And we've created a new webpage that is hosting all three charity championships, so you can find out about all three.
That's terrific. What's been the response over the last 4 years from the charities that have been involved, their take on the setup, the tournament, and how everything's going?
They say it's like no other tournament because most tournaments are for one cause. It's a great group of people trying to support whatever it is. In this case, charities get to share best practices. They get to meet people they've talked to over the phone but never met in person. They have a voice. Everyone comes out a winner, I feel. And this year, with everyone being guaranteed at least $1,000, I always felt a little bit sad that, you have big winners at the top, but we not every charity got a check. Well, this year that changes thanks to Lazy Boy. So go out and buy a Lazy Boy, please.
Yeah, Brad from Lazy Boy, I've had a chance to meet him and sit down with him once. He is really intelligent, a great thinker, but what I love most about him is his willingness to step up through his philanthropy to help the area around him. He is one of the best human beings I've come across. Super smart and cares.
Yeah, so I grew up, I went to grade school, junior high and high school, was reunited through the USO golf tournament, our friend Jeff Keller.
Yeah.
His daughter, Brad's daughter, flies for the Air Force.
How's Jeff doing, by the way?
Talked to Jeff today. He's retiring in 2 months. He's down.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Yeah, he's down at Fleet Week.
Yeah.
So, but when I got reunited with Brad, and I had no idea how smart he was. I had no idea just how motivated he is, how much he wants to help others. He's a guy, he's a perfect match with Pacific Office Automation to come in and elevate this to the next level. So we're going to set up a living room on the 10th tee box. We're going to give away a recliner, a lazy boy. We're going to do some really fun things in addition to handing out a lot of money. And it's because of Brad and his vision. He played last year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Yeah. You weren't there. Just a reminder.
True.
Sometimes I go over that line. I apologize.
No, I want you to go over the line.
Okay.
And most of the people listening would agree that I deserve it anyway.
Yeah,
So do it. Feel free.
Yeah, you're a little more sensitive.
I've always believed that I am a sacrifice for whatever makes good radio. So if I need to be a punching bag one day, I'll be a punching bag.
I've gotten through
Whatever's
life
necessary.
being a punching bag. I used to be 6'2".
But I've done a lot of work with Brad too, like through the radio and like his genius level when it comes to marketing and getting a message out and like communicating his company's brand, like just to see the way he sees things. Like I admire thinkers who can look at something and they're able to go like 2 or 3 layers deeper when they're digging into the soil. That's the best way I can describe him.
Well, he's a worker. He's a visionary. We had a meeting with him this morning, and he starts throwing out all these platforms that can help get the word out to more people I had never heard of.
Yeah.
Because I'm at home coloring in a coloring book and eating crayons.
Yes.
He is like, John, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? And I'm like, no, I had no idea. So he's always doing a number of things, you know, fixing up cars, helping his mom move, just helping people. So, very, very excited to have Lazy Boy partner with us this year.
Yeah.
It changes the game.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, whoa, Brad's involved? That's a good thing. Anytime Brad's involved, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a man of many interests, too. Like, he's done a lot of cool things.
Yeah, there's some things that he'll bring you up to speed on that he brought me up to speed on today. And I'm like, dude, are there 3 Brads in the world? So, yeah, it's
That's great.
Yeah, so...
And Pacific Office Automation has been a pillar in the community for decades.
Yeah,
ever since I moved out here.
Yeah, Christy Wakefield over there, Director of Marketing, is fantastic. They support all 3 charity championships, so they're involved in the Bend one. And then also, oh, by the way, we're moving the Bend one to Crosswater, where it never rains. So, once again, maybe.
Crosswater is a nice track.
Yes, August 31st.
I've never played Crosswater, but the people I've talked to that have said it's unreal. And I've seen pictures of it. It looks spectacular.
Yeah, you like cross the Deschutes River 6 times. It's with the 3 sisters in the background. It's insanely beautiful. God, I was just going to say something else. Les Schwab's involved in all 3. They do all of our scoring for us. So they have 32 store managers that come out. We were in talks here before I came in to talk to you. We are in serious talks about a national charity championship. I know I've been talking about it for a couple of years, but it's a big decision, a big commitment, and we had a very, very, very positive conversations today.
So what's the process like if you want to do something on a national scale? How would that look?
Well, great question. Location is key. Timing is key, especially if you have a celebrity component, because depending on when they're available, let's say they're a professional athlete, like maybe they are, their season obviously is a commitment, and then you got to find a time and a location. So we're looking at April of 2028, so just under 2 years from now. And then it's bringing people on board and creating that vision like we did with the Oregon Charity Championship. So, but it's a heavy lift, but an exciting one. We'd have 32 charities come from all over the U.S. to compete for a $500,000 purse. And then the winners of the local ones, they qualify. So if you came and actually played then and you won it, then you would come and play in this event, maybe in Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii.
Yeah.
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 Any reason to get to Hawaii is a good reason.
Right.
Now, Ethan, what are you studying at the University of Chicago?
I am economics and biology on the pre-med track. So doing a lot of mixing pots with just 2 hands.
He has no ceiling and no floor.
Well, he was excited because he got straight A's in his physics. He got an A in physics.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Now, is the university right in the city?
We're about 7.5 miles south of the city center.
Tell him, explain to you like that you met Harry Potter there. And
oh, yeah. The school is based off of the school in Europe that Hogwarts is based off of. So I go to a school in big, beautiful castles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that were built at the end of the 1890s.
How did you cross paths with him?
I met someone at Tillamook who said, you got to meet this young man. He is smart, classy, great family. And so we got on a phone call. He started telling me about the university. I started Googling images, and this stunning hall showed up. And he goes, I'm right above that. And so I said, there's an internship program that is paid for through the university. And he's worked a little bit around golf. And I said, okay, but we get our hands dirty. And he goes, that's me. Let's do it. And
That's great. I would say my most enjoyable times through my college internships, because I did a lot of different internships. I love it, because you get, on the job training and different things and get a chance to be around different people. I enjoyed that aspect. Yeah. Did you do internships?
No, I was. Everyone said no.
And we don't need you.
We don't need you. It's like when I ask you if I can join your group, you're like, no, we already got a threesome. So no. But first time I met him today, and we're excited, and we're going to hand off a lot of things he doesn't even know about yet to him. And Athena and I are getting older. We're almost 60 now, so it's
you almost 60.
Yeah, 59, my friend. Yeah,
you look good.
It's called immaturity.
I know all about that.
Yeah.
All right, so I want you guys to sit tight. We'll come back. John Bladholm is in studio. We're talking about the Oregon Charity Championships. We'll have some more. Home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, Rip City Drive. Very happy to have John Bladholm in studio and talking about the Oregon Charity Championships. You had asked me about the story with Isaac, and I want to share that with you right now. So I came home a few weeks ago. It's probably about 6 weeks ago. And he was sitting on the couch, and he looked like he was pretty exhausted. I'm like, what are you up to, Isaac? He goes, oh, I'm tired. I just got finished work. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You just got finished work. And he's like, I got a job. I'm like, what do you mean job? What are you talking about? And that's when he told me that he was doing Uber Eats, and he was delivering food to Southwest Washington. And I was like, when did you start this? He goes, at the beginning of the week. And I started asking him questions, and he proceeded. And he started doing it without any prompting from me, from mom, from anybody. And he started doing it without any prompting from me, from mom, from anybody. And that's when I told him, and I thought I was literally like astonished, right? And so after just absorbing that, I just gave him a hug and said, I'm really proud of you. This is awesome. And he's continuing to do it. He is saving up for a forerunner that he's got his eyes set upon. And I mean, he works his tail off. So I'm just like blown away. I'm still blown away by it.
Well, and you told me he has his driver's license, so he's going to be really independent.
Yes.
When he gets that forerunner.
Yeah, because he won't drive. He will not go on a maiden voyage by himself. He's had his license since he was 18. He's saving himself for his own vehicle.
So do you drive with him?
Yeah.
He's
really good.
You had mentioned during the break that he has that photographic memory, so he can look at a map and he knows quicker, better than you on the best way to get to the end location.
Yeah, we first discovered that he had photographic memory when he loves calendars, and so he would get one every year for Christmas, and then literally like 3 minutes of flipping through and just looking at, then he would memorize, and he would know what day was the date, right? And we used to amuse ourselves by asking him, like, hey, what day is June 13th? He'd be like, oh, that's a Thursday. But he got tired of that. He's like, I'm done answering questions.
So he didn't only know the image. He knew what day it landed on.
Yes. Yeah, and he knows because those type of patterns, very easy for his mind to figure out. So he's good. He's good with driving. My only concern is when he is driving by himself is the conflict. Like I think if someone were to like rear end him, little fender bender, I could see him being, he would be ticked off. He would be like, why'd you do that? You know, like it's very black and white for him. Like, why didn't you slow down and prevent yourself from hitting my bumper? So I worry about that.
Yeah. So how far away are we from him driving and maybe getting his own car? In
a couple of months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're close.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But the most important thing is like we were just talking about, like, for anyone, like this young man over here who's on his way to become a doctor, Isaac, who's doing Uber Eats. I think we all enjoy having the opportunity to have purpose and feel like we're accomplishing something. And so for him, when he goes out and does 5 or 6 deliveries and that money credits right to his account, like there's that sense of accomplishment that he's done some good work. So that part's pretty fun to watch.
I see you borrowing money from him someday.
I'm going to. Like, hey, I played a little bit too much golf this week. Can I get a 20 spot from you?
Yeah, that's great. Because when I first came in here, he was 18. He's now 23.
Yeah,
and about ready to get really independent.
Yeah.
So
he still hits me up for money all the time, though. He's like, hey, you got $20? I'm like, don't you have a job? He's like, I do, but I'm saving my money for my truck. So he'll still hit me up for little cash tips on the side, which is pretty funny.
Well, and you told me like he doesn't want you to help out with the purchase of the car, where I was begging my parents to help me out.
Yeah, so what happened with me, I had an older brother. My parents bought his car for him, and they realized after that it was a mistake. And so my dad came to me because I was 3 years younger. He goes, now, I know you're going to be upset about this probably, but we've decided that we're not going to buy a car for you. I will co-sign, but he goes, you don't understand this now, but you'll appreciate it more because it's going to be your car. And then you'll have more focus, and you'll take better care of it and all these different things. And he was right, and it worked out that way. But Isaac wants to buy it himself and doesn't want any help from anyone because he literally wants it to be his own. So no one can tell him what he can and can't do with his vehicle. That's really a big deal for him.
Well, that's great. Well, I can see how excited you are. So
yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like that's the first time where like there's times I've been really proud of him, but this one took the cake. I was like, okay, this is good. This is a good thing. Because I've been thinking about, he's had a job coach trying to help him get hired and find different jobs. But the problem is for someone that's got autism, like I was like, how's he going to find a job where he can have be focused for 8 hours or 6 hours? Like impossible, right? Because they get distracted really easily. But this is the perfect job because there's no boss. he can do as many deliveries in a particular day that he wants, so he can work at his own pace. So if he does a few deliveries and needs to take a break, he can do that, and he's not going to be upsetting someone else's process at a job site.
Well, I think it's funny. You think anyone could be focused for 8 hours. I can't be focused for an hour. So
No.
you know,
And you and I are probably very similar, where it's like I've worked in this business for so long that I don't sit behind a desk for 8 hours. Like, it would drive me crazy.
yeah, for sure. That's why every time we're out on a golf course, and you and I were also talking during the break on, because we didn't have a lot of snow, the golf courses are in such great shape right now.
Pristine.
Pristine.
And I'm talking about every course I've been on over the last couple of months. I've never seen it better than it is this year.
100%.
Isn't it great?
Hey, I was going to ask you, do you use a lab golf putter?
No, I have practiced with one. I've got an Odyssey, but the lab putters are legit.
They're legit, and they
And isn't the company is based out of Eugene, right?
you just southeast of Eugene. Is it Crescent or right there? God, what's the other golf course down there?
Like Cottage Grove? Or?
No, it's I feel like Emerald Valley.
Yeah.
So they took over the clubhouse that's been commercial use for a long time. But that company is dynamic. Fawn Donaldson, who's head of philanthropy down there, they are amazing people. They're passionate. Number one putter manufacturer in the world right now. So if you ever want to go down and get a fitting, you let me know, because they're just fun to be around and they know what they're talking about.
Do you use a lab putter?
I'm going to use a lab putter for sure.
Yeah.
In fact, what has happened is yes, but then every time someone sees a lab putter in my bag, I'm like, do you want it? Like, do you want to try it? Because, and then, I gave it to a friend at Les Schwab. And so I keep giving everyone that lab gives me, I give it to someone because they're interested in it.
Yeah.
So we'll go down there together and set it up.
I'd love to check it out and see how, everyone I've talked to that's gotten one has walked away thoroughly impressed with the whole process.
The people behind it are as good as the product. So solid. Just they give a lot. They're very philanthropic, and they make a wonderful product.
Are they giving you stuff to give away at the tournament?
Yeah, like the winning team, they each get a lab putter.
Oh, dude.
See, another reason to play.
Yeah, the cool thing is I got a new set of irons just a few weeks ago, right before I began my season after the Blazers season, and. My coach was like, hey, you've been using the same clubs now for almost 7 years. Let's do a test and see what the numbers say, right? And sure enough, we did the testing, and it was time to get new clubs. And so now I'm just having to adjust to the distances with each of the clubs because the ball travels farther.
So what were you playing with, and what did you transition to?
I was playing with Mizuno's, and I'm still with Mizuno's, but a different, a stiffer shaft, which is nice. And so I was using a 50, a 55, and a 60. Now I've got a 54, a gap, and a 60.
Yeah.
So, like the 54 and the gap, they fly really well. So it's a bit of an adjustment, but it's nice. It's fun. The technology is amazing.
Can I have your old set?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you
I'll
can.
take you. Thank you.
Because I asked him, I said, what do I do with these old clubs? He's
you
like,
give them to Blad's.
Yeah, you give them to John Bladholm.
Yeah.
That's the third option. He said, he goes, some people just, turn them in because there's places that will take clubs to give them to people who are less fortunate. So that's a good idea. He goes, or you can keep them as like a travel set. So if you're going to travel, you can take those clubs with you. So if they get damaged or lost, you're not going to be heartbroken over it.
Or give them to John.
Or give them to John. Yes. What irons are you playing with?
I'm playing with old Titleist irons. I need to get new. I'm not good enough to play the set that I have.
Yeah.
And
I find that hard to believe.
Well, 5 years and we haven't played. So, because you always have a threesome and I can't get added to it. So, no, technology is insane. I love seeing all the different clubs that are coming out, and heck, AI will tell you what kind of club you need. I think it's cool you have a coach. He's your coach. First time we came in, you had not broken, was it 80? And now you shot, 70 yesterday? Remember the first time we came in, you had not broken, was it 80? And now you shot, 70 yesterday?
70 is my best score of all time. I shot even par this morning. So today was a good day on the course. And I played with a nice gentleman. I got paired up with someone I hadn't met before, but I think he said he worked at Clark PUD. He's the guy that runs he said he runs the board. I think he's like a pretty important guy over there, but he was really a cool guy to play with because he was laid back and chill personality.
Did you play the Great Blue today?
I did not play the Great Blue today, no.
What's the other one called?
Green back and Great Blue.
Yeah.
But
been on
the big difference today was just making putts. Like I literally on Monday and Tuesday, I almost ended my life by taking my Odyssey and just ramming it into my face. I thought about
Is
it.
that what happened?
Yeah. Explains a lot, doesn't it? So, but no, it's good.
Well, I'm just going to keep inviting you, my friend.
All right. OregonCharityChampionships.com is the website. And as you pointed out, you've got all three of the tournaments on the one site now.
Yeah. You can go to OregonCharityChampionship.com. If you are a 501c that wants to register your charity, we're going to select 2 charities 10 days out on KPTV. There are TV partner Corey Hansen over there is just awesome. Like Marshall is here. They've been with us since year 1. So a lot of our sponsors have been with us since year 1. But register your charity. We're going to select 2. We may select 3 because Brad may give us one of his. So you have a good chance of getting in. And quick story, if I have 30 seconds. In the Bend one, we had a charity that was selected. A foundation saw it on TV and said, we'll match everything you win. And they won first place in a couple of KPs along drives, and then walked away with $74,000. So you can win money if you're selected. So it's going to be awesome. So please go check out the website, and hopefully we pick your charity. There's a lot of great ones out there, and we always love being here, and I'll bring some charities in over the next couple of months.
I look forward to it, John Bladholm. Ethan, thanks for coming by, and good luck with your education at the University of Chicago.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Big thanks to John. All right, what's going on, my friends? 4 o'clock. The Knicks took game 1 of the NBA Finals in San Antonio. Jalen Brunson, 30 points, 18 points, 12 rebounds for Karl Anthony Towns. Victor Wembanyama had 26, but he was just 6 of 21 from the floor. He kept it simple after the game.
Every team guards differently, I'm going to figure it out. It's, I was bad tonight. It's not more complicated than that.
All right, game 2 coming up tomorrow night in San Antonio. That puck, Carolina looking to bounce back after dropping game 1 to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That puck will drop it. Looking to bounce back after dropping game 1 to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That puck will drop at 5 on ABC. From the NFL, the Packers and wide receiver Christian Watson agreed on a new extension worth $110 million. Brian Wu will get the start tomorrow. Mariners kickoff is set in Detroit against the Tigers. That first pitch will be at 3:40, and Oregon will face Texas Saturday at 5. That game's on ESPN in the Austin Super Regional. All right, I think we're back on track now. And I know most of you don't care about my suffering, and I respect that. But basically what happened is, so we had everything go haywire to start the show. And then when I had John and Ethan in studio, when the segment would start, all of a sudden the audio would go dead in our ears. And so I thought we were off air once again, but we weren't. We were going out over the air. The problem is we couldn't hear anything in our headphones. Like, there are certain things in radio that you just get accustomed to, like the way certain things sound, the way things sound in your ears. And I utilize that to be able to know how everything's sounding. It's important, right? And so when you have to work blindly in the radio biz, it's very unsettling. And it drives you crazy. But as I mentioned, I'm a more mature Chad now, so I'm showing great restraint today. 20 years ago, I would have been blowing things up. Absolutely 100%. But what can you do? What can you do? Like on certain days on the golf course, you just know it's not going to be your day. Oh, well, there's always tomorrow. But today was a good day. Even par. I had 3 birdies, 1 bogey, and 1 stupid double bogey. Even par. It should have been a 2 to 3 under round, but I'll live with even par. Most importantly, I made putts today. The game is infuriating, but today was awesome. Played with a great guy named Paul from Clark PUD. And he had the right demeanor. He was laid back and very chill. It was a good morning. And the temperature was perfect. And the best part is there was a little cloud cover, so that saved you on a couple of holes where that morning sun is like blinding you right in your eye. And then this weekend, I'll be out at Willamette Valley Country Club with Nancy Janes, the Godfather's wife, and we're going to play in a couples Chapman. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, most importantly, I would like to hear from you. The telephone number, if you want to reach out to the Rip City Drive, the phones, for all we know, could be haunted as well. Everything else is. But give it a good shot. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. How good was that? How good was that basketball game? The back and forth. The Knicks got down by 14 in the third, and they come roaring back thanks to Karl Anthony Towns. And the question of who would be better prepared for Game 1? The Knicks, after getting over a week off from the end of the Eastern Conference Finals going into the NBA Finals, having only played 4 games since May 10th? Or would it be the Spurs, who were the more battle-tested team, getting 3 days off after they had taken care of business in Oklahoma City against the Thunder in Game 7? Well, I think we got our answer last night, the Knicks. They benefited from the rest. They were the fresher team in the fourth quarter, and I thought the fatigue really showed up, especially with Victor Wembanyama in that fourth quarter. And I've had a lot of people reach out in frustration about Mitch Johnson, the head coach for the Spurs, not understanding some of the decision-making and the rotations and why certain guys were getting minutes when they were getting minutes. Now, with Dylan Harper, there were moments last night where he was the best player on the floor. And I continue to be amazed at his play at such a young age. He is a big-time baller, but he was relegated to just a few minutes in the fourth quarter last night. Now, why wouldn't you want him on the floor? Are they using analytics, or was it a gut feeling from the coach? You got to have Dylan Harper in there and have him be more effective. De'Aaron Fox did not have a good night, and the Spurs, if they're going to win a championship, are going to have to get good contributions from De'Aaron Fox. And you would think going into the series that if you take Victor Wembanyama out of it, that De'Aaron Fox would be one of those guys next in line to potentially have a shot at the MVP of the finals if the Spurs are to go on and win. But he did not play well last night. And then the Godfather reached out to me and he said he's frustrated with the NBA because it really comes down to a night on most nights where whoever makes the most shots is going to win the game. And that really is the case on most nights because it's going to come down to three-point shooting. You know, which team can make the threes, which ones won't. And we saw a lot of guys miss open looks from downtown last night. But really the big story of the game was Victor Wembanyama. He did not have the proper mindset and did not establish the position down low that you need him to establish to be able to be dominant. And I think that's going to be the true indicator, as it has throughout the entire playoffs, for the Spurs. It's all about Victor Wembanyama and the way he's going to establish himself game to game in the series. And last night, he was not in a position to impact the game in the paint, and he's got to be that guy. As we talked about before in the Western Conference Final, in the games that the Spurs won, it was Victor Wembanyama who made his presence felt early in the game. He was aggressive. He established his position in the paint, and he went after it. But last night, he was relegated to being more of a mid-range guy, and he settled for a bunch of threes. And I think part of that was fatigue, but a lot of that was the Knicks being physical with multiple guys and pushing him off his spot. And that's something to keep an eye on. Wembanyama last night played 38 minutes. He had 26 points. He pulled down 12 rebounds. He also had 6 turnovers, and he was just 6 of 21 from the floor. But the biggest issue, 2 of 9 from 3. So better than 40% of his shots in the game came from downtown. Like, that's not a winning formula for the Spurs. They're going to have to do a better job through scheming, through his teammates, and through the mindset of Wembanyama to get him in position if they're going to win the series. And the Spurs, as a team, just 26% from downtown. They shot below 40% from the field. They just weren't good enough. A lot of missed shots. And then the Knicks, they got the guys they needed to be able to step up and get the job done. OG Anunoby played big, 3 of 6 from downtown, 17 points, 3 rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns was awesome. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. And again, the reason why he's critical, if he's winning his matchup with Champagnie or one of the other wings, the Spurs have to adjust and put Wemby on Towns. Towns is a guy who can shoot from way deep. Like, you have to respect his shooting ability, and anything they can do to get Wemby away from the basket is going to open up the floor for cutters and drivers like OG or Jalen. And I thought the Knicks really in that third quarter into the fourth quarter just made big plays. And I mentioned Brunson before. He's a closer. He is a closer. Fourth quarter in this playoff run, and the Knicks now have won 12 straight games in the postseason. 62% from 3, 59% from the floor, 93 from the line in the fourth quarter. That's big time. Jalen Brunson is a clutch, big-time basketball player. Love everything about him. I just thought he was great last night. Even though he didn't shoot the ball well, he struggled for, probably 2.5, 3 quarters. But when the team needed him most, he made an impact in that fourth quarter. Let's go out to West Lynn. John wants to chime in. John, I appreciate the phone call. You're up on the Rip City Drive. What's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going, Chad?
Fabulous.
I just want a quick question. So, all year long, we kept hearing that the West was head and shoulders above everybody else, and that the East had zero chance of winning anything. And
yes.
Now that the West just got punched in the mouth in Game 1, how did the national media and everybody get it so wrong? Was it just a blind infatuation with Wemby?
I think it could be partly a blind infatuation with Wemby. But if you look at the play throughout the course of the regular season, I think we all had the same idea. I know I did coming out of the regular season into the postseason that I looked at the Western Conference. I identified, Oklahoma City number 1, but San Antonio with the way they had played down the stretch. And I just thought they were the 2 superior teams. I think the reason why we doubted New York is 2 reasons, John. One, the Knicks, it's great that they're where they're at now, but they underachieved throughout the course of the regular season because if you go into the season, Indiana had injury concerns. It was going to be kind of a off year for them. We knew Boston was not going to be the same because Tatum missed the majority of the year. So the pathway was open for the Knicks to really take control of the conference, but they didn't jump out and really take advantage of that. They didn't get the number 1 seed. It was Detroit. And the Knicks hadn't really found their groove throughout the course of the entire regular season. And then, midway through the Atlanta series, they caught fire. So I think for a combination of those reasons, we just didn't identify the Knicks or anybody else from the Eastern Conference that we thought could compete with the likes of Oklahoma City and San Antonio. But this is why you play the games, right? Because San Antonio takes out Oklahoma City. The Knicks match up better with San Antonio than they would Oklahoma City. And now the Knicks get the win in Game 1, and they're in a prime position to win a championship for the first time in multiple decades, which is amazing. And I think the other thing, too, we keep talking about the inexperience or lack of experience for the Spurs. Look at the Knicks. They're not young guys. Those are grown men that have been in the league for a long time. They're key players. And I thought that showed in that fourth quarter with Towns, with Brunson, with OG, and Mikal Bridges. Those guys executed well. The moment wasn't too big for them, and they just looked real calm in that third quarter when they were making their comeback. I was thoroughly impressed with them. It was great.
Right.
And then I guess,
well, thank you.
No, and John, I think the other thing too, and this is something it was the dilemma I kept asking. I don't know what you thought, but I kept looking at the competition they had with Atlanta, with Detroit, with Atlanta, and with Philadelphia, and then Cleveland. Like, they dominated the competition in the Eastern Conference, but I did wonder if the lack of competition they faced in the Eastern playoffs would impact them against a team like San Antonio. The answer to that was obviously no. They were fine.
Yeah. And I watch most every single game and rewatch them if I can. And I think that you're correct. I mean, they had their ups and downs. They completely redid the offense 2 or 3 times while trying to kind of figure it out with Mike Brown. And I don't know if you remember, but after the in-season tournament, they went on a wild losing streak. I mean, they just won the whole thing, and then kind of the wheels fell off. And I think that's when the doubt kind of crept in. But I always had faith in my guys, and last year we ran out of steam, just like some of these Western teams are doing right now. We were in this situation. I was 13 years old.
That's great. So were you 13 back in '99?
We were in this situation. I was 13 years old.
That's great. So were you 13 back in '99?
Yes.
Oh, so you got to be thrilled out of your mind to watch them play basketball the way they're playing right now. And can you imagine on Monday when they play Game 3 at Madison Square Garden? The series is at least going to be tied up at 1. That place is going to be lit, John.
It's going to be a madhouse, and especially if they and if they win the whole thing. I think every car and every lamppost in New York City is going to come down and get burned.
Yeah, no, it's great. I would say, and for me, and I've been like you, I've been watching basketball a long time. I just really like this group, this Knicks team. One, I thought hiring Mike Brown was a mistake. I was wrong. He's done a heck of a job, and he's a likable guy. But this group, whether it's Brunson, Bridges, OG, or Karl Anthony Towns, like they clearly care about each other, and they're playing really hard for one another. And I like that. Yep. I like their identity and the way that they've come together. They're a fun team to watch. Very likable.
Yep. Definitely think so. And unsung hero, even though because everyone's talking about Brunson and Cat, OG played out of his mind and came up with some crazy buckets and some crazy steals at the really opportune time.
Well, the best advice I'll give you, John, and you know this as a sports fan, just eat up every single moment of this experience because there's no guarantee of a next year. Like, you just got to enjoy this for what it is. And I'm pulling for the Knicks, man. I hope they get it done.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you for the call.
You got it. Anytime. 503-248-0620. John, very excited as a Knicks fan. It's pretty funny because he's like, why do you think the national media got it all wrong? And John was basically with everyone else. I mean, he was frustrated with the Knicks play throughout the regular season. But you got to credit Mike Brown. He flipped things around in that Atlanta series, getting Cat in that facilitator role. And they've just been, like even on made baskets, missed baskets, they're pushing the tempo. They're putting the pressure on their opponent's defense, looking to get the ball down court, attacking, and they've had multiple guys step up and knock down big shots. Landry Shamet, obviously Jalen Brunson, OG, Mikal. Yeah, they've been great. And Game 2 will be tomorrow, 5:30 tip from San Antonio on ABC. Right now, the Spurs favored by 6 in Game 2. We'll keep things rolling. You got the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, telephone number 503-248-0620 if you want to jump on board. Whatever you want to talk about is fine by me. You want to talk golf? I'm cool with that. You want to talk about the NBA Finals Game 1 that we saw last night down in San Antonio? I'm definitely okay with that. What a game it was, and hopefully that's an indication of the type of series we're going to get over the next couple of weeks. Like I told you, I'm all about the drama. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm pulling for the Knicks to win, but I'm not a fan of either team. I just want good drama, a long, drawn-out series, and I want it to be one of those memorable finals that we'll look back on and talk about. That's what I care most about. And I thought last night, Game 1 was pretty awesome. It looked like the Spurs were about to run away with it in the third quarter, and then the Knicks stormed back into the game. And I thought, to me, fatigue looked like a factor in the fourth quarter. Now, Mitch Johnson would disagree with that, but I thought fatigue was a factor.
I don't think it was fatigue. I'm sure guys got tired at times, but I didn't feel like anyone's performance was based on fatigue. I think we just need to be sharper and execute better and continue to work the game and not fight it at times and play the right way.
All right, so they looked like a tired in the game coming from beyond the arc. He was 2 of 9 from 3. That's bad. He was game coming from beyond the arc. He was 2 of 9 from 3. That's bad. He was 6 of 21 from the floor. That's bad. But I think the worst number is that 42% of his field goal attempts came from beyond the arc. That's not a good formula if the Spurs hope to win the championship. It's like, Wemby, look, I know that you're young, okay? But you have to be aggressive and establish yourself in the paint. Like, I feel like sometimes someone needs to remind him, like, no one can match you. You're 7'5", all right? You're an alien. You know it. We all know it. Now get your ass in the paint. This is not a difficult concept. What I do like about Wemby is that, he doesn't run or try to hide. Now, he did decide to skip out after Game 5 and not talk to the media, but, whatever. He was pretty honest with his assessment last night. First off, talking about the team, just getting back to doing what they do.
It's almost not like I have anything to figure out. It's almost like I have to play normal, not even good. It's like just doing the right things is enough. It's when we play bad, when I play bad, it's when we shoot ourselves in the foot. It's this is why I'm not worried. It's we're going to be so much better. I'm going to be so much better.
Yeah, they've got to play better basketball. And the other reason why I think fatigue was a factor, even though Mitch Johnson said it wasn't a factor, half of their turnovers came in the fourth quarter. The shooting percentage drops, half your turnovers come in the fourth. And you all know this. Like, what is don't you think fatigue plays a pretty big role in the turnovers, that we saw last night in the fourth quarter? I certainly do. And the other thing that Victor said that I think is cool is like, yeah, I got to play better. I don't need to overthink this. I didn't play well. I had a bad night. I didn't establish myself down low. I didn't have the right mindset. I didn't play well.
Every team guards differently, I'm going to figure it out. It's, I was bad tonight. It's not more complicated than that.
Yeah, I didn't play well. I got to play better. And I'm okay with that. It's nice to see someone have that assessment and be able to understand that. It's good. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And he also said he's not concerned. He's not worried. They dropped a game. They can get back in the series. It's not over.
We've been down in a series before, never in the finals, obviously. But I'm not kicking myself about anything, really. I'm not worried the slightest.
That's good. That's what you want to hear from your star player. Now, you also wonder, too, with the finals. Now, they have not shown youth or fear this entire playoff run, but the finals is different. It's the biggest stage in the NBA. Playing in your first championship series, knowing what's at stake. Were you jittery? Here's the Q&A.
Walking into this, your first ever finals game tonight, were there any jitters that bothered you from the beginning that perhaps could have affected you at all today?
It definitely felt special for sure, but nothing close that could be an excuse, It was not a factor in our performance.
Yeah, there you have it. Yeah, it was a little jittery. It's a big moment, but it did not cause us to play the way we did in the fourth quarter. And finally, he was asked about Jalen.
What is it about Jalen Brunson that makes him a little more difficult to defend? How do you think he got to 30 points tonight?
He's an elite player, and we got the chance that we're going to have many more chances. It's a first to 4 series, so we're going to have time to work on it.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson is elite. He's a stud. There's nothing I don't love about Jalen Brunson. He's got the footwork, the fundamentals, good handle, great shot maker, can hit from all angles, understands the angles, and he showed toughness last night. And I think it was ESPN that put out the stat, but I think the the Spurs were 1 of 14 from the field when Brunson was a primary defender. Now, Brunson is not known as a great defender, but he played his ass off last night, which again shows you that even if you're not a good defender, if you just pour out the effort, to become a nuisance, to not get totally lost on a play, that you can still make headway on that end of the floor. And I thought Brunson was able to do that, which is really cool. And the Knicks got off to a slow start, got down by 14 in the third, which I thought was to be expected. They hadn't played in over a week and only 4 games since May 10th.
I think at one point you were 5 for 18 from the field, and yet you really imposed your will on the game in the fourth quarter. Where does that strength and composure come from on a night when you're struggling from the floor to still have that kind of an impact on the game in the fourth quarter?
I think it starts with my confidence. It comes with my work ethic. But I think most importantly, knowing we're on the road and knowing my teammates have my back. I think that's the biggest thing in an environment like this. They trusted having me, and they trusted having them. It's got us to this point. And so, I'm very thankful for them. Every single night we go out there together.
And the other thing we've seen from the Knicks is an incredible ability to come back. They get down, they don't lose their dome, they stay focused and continue to grind. And Brunson was asked about that after the game last night, their ability to come back. Or what's that word? Resiliency.
And you guys come back in so many games. Resilience has been the story of your season. Is there a sense of calm or familiarity when you're in that situation, trailing in the second half?
I don't want to say calmness, but I think we know what we have to do. I think we're a pretty together group. Be able to trust each other and still just continue to fight, have each other's back, and just know that we got to keep chipping away. It's just a credit to the mentality we have as a team. But, we can't just be satisfied with that. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of things we can do to be better, but I'm happy we came with a win.
Yeah, I like Brunson. Good leadership, great player, and he's no nonsense, man, and he plays hard. And that's one thing that jumped out at me last night. We can nitpick both sides. We can nitpick the Spurs. But the one thing I love about basketball at this level compared to what we saw in the regular season, everyone cares. Everyone's playing their tail off. And when you get, high-level athletes playing with purpose because they really care about the result, this is what you get. Great games. And it's awesome. Like, I need more of this in my life. Playoff basketball is the best. Brunson also asked about the Spurs, and this is a good point, good reminder to his teammates that, man, this team comes ready. We got to show up focused because the Spurs are going to, be ready to go.
They come ready to play more than any other team that we faced. And so, we have the utmost respect for them. We know that we got to be ready for game 2. We just found a way to make plays at the end of the game.
Now, I mentioned Karl Anthony Towns. He was a key player going into the series. He needs to play well as the facilitator. He's also got to put pressure and win his matchups to force the Spurs to put Wemby on him. And then defensively in those moments where he's, got Wemby one-on-one, especially closer to the basket, he's got to win some of those. And he did last night. And he was asked about defending Wemby.
What's your approach defending Wembanyama?
We just try to make it difficult. He's an amazing player. He's a one-of-a-kind player in this NBA the league has ever seen. And you just try to make it as difficult as possible.
Yeah, no question. No question. Mike Brown, after the game, was asked about Towns' performance, 18 points, 12 boards, 4 assists.
He was amazing. The double-double was huge. He came up with some timely buckets for us. He's a problem. You put a small guy on him, he's got a chance to offensive rebound. You put a big guy on him, he's got a chance to pick and pop and go around guys. So we got to just keep trying to move him around based on who's guarding him throughout the course of the ball game. But he was huge for us with his double-double.
Yeah, no question. What it looked like to me as well, the Knicks looked well prepared for that game. And I can't help but wonder, when you have that much time off, like the amount of time that they had as a coaching staff to be able to scout, to come up with, game plans and how they wanted to attack each player on the Spurs roster. The players, the time to digest the information they're getting from the coaches and to be able to work through some of that stuff in practice. Man, that time is so valuable because you're getting a chance to scout, to game plan, and then go over it in practice time and time again before the finals kick off. And the Spurs looked like a team that was well prepared. They even highlighted that during the broadcast last night where Mitchell Robinson sealed off Wemby on a play, and the timing's got to be perfect on that. He sealed off Wemby, which allowed Brunson to have the room that was needed to get into the paint and finish around the rim. Things like that stand out in terms of their preparation and why they played as well as they did. Now, the big thing I've talked about with the Knicks is their togetherness, the way that they play for one another. They're a real team where multiple players are making game-winning contributions on a nightly basis, and Towns had a chance to talk about this group.
This team has unity. It has camaraderie. And it was special. It was something I thought we showed the world last year. It got us far in the playoffs last year, and just kind of growing off of that from last year, having another year with each other, even more familiarity. Obviously, so many moving parts. So I think it was, it's been so many moving parts. So I think it was, it's been something that has been building, and it's been more trust has been built over time. It's just something that has worked tremendously well for us.
Yeah, no question. That's the reason why I love watching them play. You can tell they like one another. The respect is there. The way they play for each other, they share the basketball. When a team's playing like this, there's a lot of credit to go around. 12 straight wins in the postseason. Dominant fashion too. Jeez. We did have an incident. Some knucklehead got loose and ran out on the floor trying to get a selfie with Wemby before security escorted him off the court. And here's what it sounded like on the Knicks broadcast.
Back live in San Antonio, and a fool on the court with a cell phone and a night in jail. Off he goes, very quickly escorted out of here by 3 security guards, including one wearing a cowboy hat.
Where'd he come from?
The stands.
Well, obviously, but I was curious which section.
I love that. One wearing a cowboy hat, right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of New York City. And the report is crazy on this, but apparently Ben Golliver is reporting this. A fan who ran onto Frostbank Center Court during the fourth quarter of Wednesday night's finals and attempted to make a selfie with Victor Wembanyama was arrested and given a lifetime ban from all NBA arenas, according to a league spokesperson. A lifetime ban. Golliver says the incident, which halted play during the Knicks' 105-95 Game 1 victory, occurred with 6:28 remaining and New York holding a 92-86 lead. The fan ran onto the court with a cell phone in his right hand, stopped in front of Wemby and Knicks center Mitchell Robinson near the three-point line, and then quickly was pushed away by 2 security guards as he attempted to take the picture. Quote, a second individual will also receive a lifetime ban for his role in the incident. So what exactly was this second individual's role? Was he encouraging his friend to roll out on the floor? Did he distract a security guard so his friend could make the move? Like, what did this other guy do? Replay showed Wembanyama looking confused and smiling in the direction of the phone as a fan approached him. Quote, I've never been in that situation. I don't know how to act. It really surprised me almost as much as the time when a bat crossed the court before a January 2024 game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think I'd be more creeped out by a bat than I would a fan trying to get a selfie with Wemby. Crazy. Lifetime ban. What I want to know is, did he get the picture? Did you get the selfie with Wemby? If so, it was probably worth it. But a lifetime ban? Was he a Knicks fan? Was he a Knicks fan that loves Wemby, or was he a Spurs fan, or was he just a Wemby fan? And did he get the picture before security escorted him off the court? 503-248-0620. Let's go out to Eddie in Vancouver. Wants to talk about the game last night. Eddie, my man, what's up?
Not much, Chad, my man. Hey, Chad, the dude last night, he didn't try to get a selfie. He did. And I saw on social media, like he actually got a picture. Like I saw on the news in Good Day, Oregon, they showed it. They showed him running out on the court and everything, during the game live. They didn't show it live, I think he was saying, Gray, whoever it was, you have to excuse my dog. He's like puppy shots. Oh, my gosh.
No, that's okay. I love dogs.
Yeah, my dog is crazy. But anyway, the announcer, is it Gray? Is that who it was last night calling the game?
Breen.
I've heard. Yes, right. So he says whoever those guys, they weren't here for basketball. And I was like, what's going on? I had no idea. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then so this morning when I saw Good Day Oregon, and I saw it, Max, you weren't out there. But I took a picture of the screen to show my son this morning before he went to school, and just a little while ago, they on social media there's a picture they showed him actually right there. He got the picture. So I'm sending it to show you, Shad. I know it ain't AI. I'm pretty sure it's legit because he was right there. He got pretty dang close.
So he got the picture then. Anyway, he got the selfie with Wemby before he was escorted off the floor.
Yep. I'm going to send it to you, too.
Okay, send it to me. I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
The lifetime ban is crazy, though.
But is it worth it? Like, if you're the notorious individual that gets on the floor, game one of the NBA Finals, and gets a selfie with Wemby, is that selfie with the alien worth getting a lifetime ban?
Yeah, because he's going to sell that. He's famous. You know what I mean? However, I think he kind of messed the momentum up for the game. After that happened, they had to take a break and everything. That probably helped the Knicks out, maybe. I don't know. But it seemed like the Spurs weren't the same after that.
Huh. Interesting.
But I wanted to comment too about Wemby not playing down low. I was having like flashbacks of LaMarcus Aldridge and Rasheed Wallace. I used to just drive me batty when they'd be that tall. Shooting those 19-footers and everything. I'm like, go down low and bang, and just like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Because I'm used to that NBA is fantastic basketball. You know what I mean? When that's what it was. You know what I mean? You're big, go down low, and put your back towards them. They stop you. They stop you. But also from back in the day, I was when I fell in love with basketball. I remember when Isaiah Thomas hurt his ankle, and he was just chilling with whoever the broadcasters were back then. And he was talking about the big guys when they dribble the ball up the court. He goes, I'm a little guy too, dude. I'm like 5'7". I used to be 5'7.5", but I shrunk. I'm like 5'7" now. But anyway, Isaiah Thomas said when those tall guys, when that ball goes below the waist, that's vulture territory, Mm-hmm. So Wemby brought the ball up one time, tried to take him off the dribble, brings the ball up the court, doing that, and New York is like, okay. The second time he did it, he got ripped, you know what I mean? So they put the end of that, and I was telling my son that. He's kind of like, laughing at me when I was saying that, but I was like, no, for real, I don't see, I don't know, but that shouldn't be his game. You know what I mean? I know he can do that, but that's him bringing the ball up the court like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no question about it, man. Eddie, I appreciate you, my friend. Good luck with the rest of your afternoon and your dog, who was saying what's up on the show. Yeah, Wemby's going to get better, and part of that too is not bringing the ball down low to where the guards, the smaller guys who are 6'5", 6'6", who are on him, can take swipes at the ball. And I think the comparison that I'm trying to think who was breaking that down. Well, anyways, Dirk Nowitzki did a great job of always keeping the ball up high so the smaller defenders couldn't take swipes at the ball. And Wemby, he's going to learn how to handle the ball better. He's going to develop a better handle so he can attack the paint. But most importantly, he'll eventually develop those spots on the floor where he develops that comfort level. So if it's a fadeaway, if it's a jump hook, whatever the shot is, he's going to develop go-to moves where he'll get to his spot and he's going to become lethal. He's just not that seasoned yet. So for him, it's critical to have the mindset before the game begins that he's going to establish himself down low, that his teammates do a good job of looking for him to get those lob passes at the rim. He needs to be involved early and often tomorrow night in Game 2. Because, again, even though the Knicks are a bigger team, there's no answer for Wemby. So it's up to him to have that mindset of aggressiveness to really establish himself down low. Big thanks to Eddie. We'll keep things rolling. You got the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, Shams announced that Donald Trump, the president, will attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden. He's been a lifelong Knicks fan, and according to betonline.ag, there's a 75% probability of President Trump hearing more boos than cheers. That's pretty amazing. You can bet on whether or not Trump is going to get more boos than cheers or the other way around. Right now, boos minus 300, cheers plus 200. Very interesting. You can pretty much bet on anything that you want to bet on now. But Game 3, when it shifts scenes to New York, is going to come up on Monday from Madison Square Garden. And that place is going to be super lit. First finals game they've had at Madison Square Garden in 27 years. And most of the pros that you talk to that have played, they all point to Madison Square Garden as being the best place to play, the best arena to go and play in because of what basketball means in New York City. A lot of people have called it the Mecca. It's a special arena. I've been there. It's really nice. It's right next to Penn Station. It's in the heart of the city. I did not see a game there. I saw a concert, but that's a legendary building. And players love playing there for obvious reasons. And the fans, for the most part, they've grown up on basketball, so they're good fans. I heard Channing Frye even mentioning that today. The fan base, the fans that go to games at Madison Square Garden, a very basketball-rich, educated group of people that watch the games. And I did see the picture. Eddie sent it over to me. That fan that ran out on the floor and now is banned for life from NBA arenas, he got the selfie. He actually got a selfie, and it's floating around online now. And it's pretty awesome because I read the report from Ben Golliver. Victor Wembanyama was smiling. He was. And then Mitchell Robinson is standing right next to Wemby, and he's looking straight ahead like Wemby is, but he looks ticked off. And Mitchell Robinson's a guy that you would not want to mess around with if he's ticked off. But the guy got the selfie, and they got escorted off the floor. It's amazing. It's crazy. Lifetime ban. Would that be worth it? There are some fans of certain teams in the NBA that you hope you get a lifetime ban for, so you never have to watch your team play basketball again. There are those teams. They're so bad at basketball. Like if I were a Clipper fan, I would ask that I would get a lifetime ban, so I never have to go and watch that team in person ever again. Even though they play in a beautiful arena, you know they're going to underachieve and not do much of anything in regard to significance ever because they're the Clippers. Grizzly fans probably wouldn't mind being banned for life. There's certain fan bases. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Are you pulling for Carolina to win because of Tom Dundon? Or are you rooting against the Hurricanes because of Tom Dundon? I've had people reach out to share their thoughts on the Hurricanes. And all I've pointed out is that I think the Hurricanes should be a source of optimism for you Blazer fans because we have an owner now who is a known quantity. He took over a franchise that was a disaster, and he's turned them into a perennial playoff power and now in the Stanley Cup Finals with a great chance to get a championship. They dropped Game 1 to Vegas, but they have Game 2 tonight at the Lenovo Center there in Raleigh. Chance to even up the series. I think it's pretty cool. Now, we know that the NHL is not the NBA, but Tom Dundon's got a formula for success, and I think we just need to allow him the time to be able to, put the pieces in place. But competitive, a desire to win, and he's going to invest in the players to make it happen. Now, I mentioned yesterday I'm not on board with trading for Giannis, not because I don't love Giannis. I just don't love his age at 31. He'll be 32 in the season. And I just don't know how many more elite years you're going to get left with the tread on his tires, the wear and tear, especially for all the young assets you'd have to give up. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive, telephone number 503-248-0620. I appreciate your time. Michael Shacker is with me. I think we got the ghosts out of the studio, which is good. I'm thankful for that. 503-248-0620. I'd love to hear from you. Jump on board if you'd like. Whatever you want to talk about is fine by me. All right, 5 o'clock chat here. Knicks take game one of the finals last night. Jalen Brunson, 30 points, big in the fourth quarter, 18 points, 12 boards for Karl Anthony Towns. Victor Wembanyama with 26, but just 6 of 21 shooting. Said he's not worried after the game one loss.
We've been down in a series before, never in the finals, obviously, but I'm not kicking myself about anything, really. I mean, I'm not worried the slightest.
Next up, game two tomorrow night, once again at Frostbank Center in San Antonio. Tip-off at 5:30 on ABC. And the Spurs right now a 6-point favorite. Stanley Cup Finals game 2 tonight. The puck's going to drop in a few minutes on ABC. Carolina looking to bounce back after dropping game 1 to Las Vegas. From the NFL, the Packers and wide receiver Christian Watson have agreed to a new deal, an extension worth $110 million. Brian Wu will get the start tomorrow. Mariners will kick off a set in Detroit against the Tigers. First pitch at 3:40, and Oregon will face Texas Saturday at 5 on ESPN in the Austin Super Regional. All right, you can jump on board. Telephone number here at the Rip City Drive is 503-248-0620. We've navigated the early choppy waters that kicked off the show. And with all the changes now, and I think we've mentioned this time and again, we're doing a full renovation here on the floor that we're at in our building in Tigard. And so they've had to move equipment around. They're bringing stuff from the 4th floor down to the 3rd floor. Everything's being consolidated. And with that, there's a few bugs that pop up. And that took place today. It's very unfortunate. These things used to really drive me mad. But as you get older, you're like, what can I do? I just got to lean back and rely upon Michael Shacker right now. So I just let that stuff slide. But it's pretty funny to be watching Michael Shacker when things go sideways. I don't even have to hear him. I just know that he's on top of things because he's ticked off. And he's like me. He's like, what are you doing? What's going on? It's kind of like me on the putting green on Tuesday. What are you doing, you moron? What's up with that? How could I not see that? Oh, my goodness. So Stanley Cup Finals getting ready to commence. Game number 2 from the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. And it's not necessarily a must-win, but it's almost a must-win for Carolina tonight. Tom Dundon's team. Hurricanes need to even up the series before they go back to Vegas. And they were favored coming into this series. And now, after the Game 1 win by Vegas, they are the underdogs. So we'll see if the Hurricanes can respond. Vegas, of course, coming off the sweep of Colorado, which was the best team in the NHL this year. And I think you have to go all the way back to like early January. That's the last time Carolina lost back-to-back games. So we'll see if the Canes can respond tonight. And then we'll get to Game 2 of the finals tomorrow. You know what was really nice about the finals, Game 1 last night? Just a great game. A lot of drama. And a lot of, big-time plays from mostly the Knicks in that 4th quarter. But the way they battled back in the 3rd, down 14, and got themselves in a position to win the game was really impressive. This run they've been on with 12 straight wins is mind-boggling. And I was like everyone else. I thought the West was going to run away with the championship. I questioned the Knicks' pathway to the finals and whether or not that would, hurt them. Not being battle-tested coming out of a series against Minnesota and Oklahoma City like the Spurs. But I go back to what Brad Botkin talked about last week, and that was the fact that, just like Indiana last year, pushing Oklahoma City to 7 games. When you come out of the East and the competition is not as fierce, and maybe you play shorter series because, like the Knicks, they were on fire. I mean, they get all that rest, and they're able to come in rejuvenated. And they had the energy. It was the Knicks who had the energy because of that rest they got in the 4th quarter when they were making shots. And the Spurs, they didn't look tired until the 4th, and then they looked like a team that was coming out of a 7-game grinder against Oklahoma City. So I think fatigue played a factor. But, it all comes back to Victor Wembanyama, establishing himself down low, being a force in the paint on both ends, because there's no answer for him. And I go back to Eddie in Vancouver's phone call where he brought up LaMarcus Aldridge. And if you remember early in LaMarcus's tenure with the Blazers, we would get frustrated because, like, dude, you're almost 7 feet and you've got incredibly long arms and you're strong. Get your butt down in the paint and dominate. And we felt that way about centers for quite some time. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you shooting threes? Get down there. Make your presence felt down low. And I feel like with Wembanyama, we look at him similar to the way we did with guys before the three ball became so prevalent in the NBA, where it's like, dude, you're 7'5". It's not like anyone can stop you. Get down there and make yourself felt. And I think, a lot of this is scheme. Credit the Knicks, who had extra time to prepare. They were ready for the battle against Wemby last night. But the Spurs, through scheming, through their coaching staff coming up with different wrinkles, they're going to have to come up with ways to get Wemby in a position to have success. And part of that will be his teammates, especially the guards, Castle and Harper, to really make an impact. And for Wemby, he's going to learn as time goes on that he is the biggest, baddest dude on the court. So if he sets his mind to dominating, no one can stop him, period. And so we'll see what the response is in game number 2. But, he's not concerned. But I think when you're young and you're still feeling your way through the league and trying to understand your dominance, we've seen this throughout the playoffs where he's been kind of on again, off again. And when I say on again, off again, I mean on in terms of getting in the paint and dominating down low. And then he'll come back and have a game where he's been relegated to more of that mid-range game. Now, he did a good job in the Western Conference Finals. He was dominant and had that mindset in Game 6 and 7, back-to-back games where he just took over the game. And he's like, not on my watch. And that's what I want to see from him, I guess. It's like, look, I'm Victor Wembanyama. I know you don't have an answer for me, and so I'm going to make your life hell. That's what I want to see from him. And he'll get there. He'll get there. For a guy who's from France, he's got a pretty good mindset. But I like his attitude and approach, and he cares. I don't need him crying after Game 7 like we saw in the Western Conference Finals, because that wasn't even a championship, but he cares, and he's going to put the effort in, which is nice. But it's like, come on, man, get down there and make things happen. But credit the Knicks for all the reasons we've talked about. Jalen Brunson didn't have a great shooting night, was huge in the fourth quarter when they needed him to be. Karl Anthony Towns was a dominant player last night. Third quarter on the offensive glass was huge. He had a double-double with 18 points and 12 rebounds, made some big shots, but most importantly, he made life tough on the Spurs because he has to win that matchup with whoever's on him outside of Wemby. He's got to make them pay so that they put Wemby on him, and then you can draw him away from the rim. And that's the versatility of Towns. And he did a good job of, getting a shot. He also put the ball on the floor and attacked the rim. I just like the way he played last night. And then with Brunson, he showed a lot of toughness because it was kind of scary there early in the game when Harrison Barnes came tumbling down and hit Brunson's knee. I mean, Brunson looked at first, I was like, oh, great, the series is over. Brunson's going to be done. He leaves the game, comes back. I think they fitted him with a brace, but he was able to finish the game strong. And I love smaller guys, undersized guys who are that tough. And Brunson is obviously shorter compared to the NBA guys he's playing with, but he's very stout, very stocky. And then, with a lot of the smaller guys we've seen play in the league, you've got to have good fundamentals. His fundamentals are sound. The footwork, the handle, and then, some players just have an understanding of angles. Dennis Rodman was a genius-level rebounder because he would study shots from all angles on the floor to know where the ball is most likely going to bounce to, which would allow him to get a head start on a ball to grab the rebound, and that's why he was a dominant rebounder. Well, Brunson understands angles in terms of where he needs to get to and how to get shots up in the paint over guys who are much bigger than he is. And he's developed a little scoop shot off the window. He can go left, he can go right, and he's so good at getting to his spots. But that type of toughness, tricking your knee, and then coming back and leading your team to a Game 1 victory was pretty big. I respect the heck out of him. Love watching him play. I think he's cool. I'm 100% down with Jalen Brunson. And then with the rest of the Knicks, they just togetherness, they play for one another, and I thought defensively last night did a really good job. Let's go out to the phones. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's grab Pat, who's hanging out in Portland. Pat, appreciate the call. What is on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk to you about the game last night. My team won like I thought they would, New York. I'm not a big New York fan, but I just thought the matchup would go in their direction. And I think the big man for the Spurs is going to possibly after the third game, I think he's going to be wore out. I mean, look at how many games he's been playing, and he's had a couple good games and then a flop game. And last night it seemed like from me hearing the game on the radio, listening to what they were playing, it sounded like he was having some problems with sloppy ball handling. And, they mentioned it right there at the end of the game. He was taking the ball and he bounced it off his shoe.
Yeah.
But I think New York's going to win it, and they just seem like they're a lot more aggressive. They're just got a lot of good guys there that are hungry.
Oh, there's no question, Pat, and I appreciate the phone call. And, it definitely looks like the Knicks are in a prime position after game number one, but I would expect a solid response from San Antonio tomorrow, and I would expect them to even up the series. But there's no question that the Knicks were the aggressor last night. But I think with Victor, and he had 6 turnovers last night, didn't shoot the ball well, 2 of 9 from downtown, 42% of his shots coming from beyond the arc. That's the fatigue. And then when you're tired, that's where you see the mistakes with the turnovers. So it all came together in a perfect storm against the Spurs in that fourth quarter. Didn't shoot the ball well, turned it over. Half their turnovers came in the fourth, and that's from the fatigue. Mitch Johnson, their head coach, was asked about fatigue after the game.
I don't think it was fatigue. I'm sure guys got tired at times, but I didn't feel like anyone's performance was based on fatigue. I think we just need to be sharper and execute better and continue to work the game and not fight it at times and play the right way.
All right. I respectfully disagree with you, Coach. Most coaches are not going to admit that their team's tired or fatigued. They're not going to say that, but the numbers would speak to the fact that they were a tired basketball team. And it would make sense. You're playing a team that had 4 games under their belt since May 10th. You're coming off a 7-game series that was a brutal battle against Oklahoma City. And you only got 3 days off. The Knicks had over a week. Yeah, they were tired. And Pat's right. The best way to play Victor right now, since he doesn't have, those go-to moves, beat the crap out of him. Get physical. And be as physical as you can up to the point. Find out what the refs are going to let you get away with. That's the best way to play it. You've got to be really aggressive and physical with Wemby. And, you put a bunch of different bodies on him and you make, Wemby feel you over the course of the series. That's going to put you in a position to have success. You want to make life hard on Wemby. It's critical. All right, game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals getting ready to launch right now. You're enjoying your day there. We'll get to your phone calls next. I appreciate your time. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday. To your phone calls next. I appreciate your time. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday. You got the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, Sean has reached out, and he says, Chad, do you know why it's taken so long for us to hire our head coach? Thanks, buddy. Well, I've asked the same question to multiple people that I know, and really what it comes down to, Sean, is, the Blazers, because they're weeks away, the Blazers don't have any draft picks in the upcoming draft because their pick conveyed. The Blazers don't have any draft picks in the upcoming draft because their pick conveyed to Chicago. So they don't even have to have a coach in place by the draft. You probably want to have a coach in place by the time you get to the end of the month so that you have your guy in place for the start of free agency when the deals are going to go down. But they don't need a coach today. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that with no draft picks, you have that extra period of time. It gives the Blazers the opportunity to just take their time through the process and not rush. And so you can go through, I think, as it was described to us, a wide net, and you talk to multiple candidates. You go through your interviews, you meet as a staff, and then you start to pick the individual that you think will be the best for your team. And that's really what it comes down to. So I just think the period of time that it's taken to hire a coach is just, there's no urgency to make the hire today. We just entered the offseason. The Blazers are doing a wide net for their coaching search. They don't have any draft picks, so they've got plenty of time. My guess is that we'll have a coach named here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And what are we now? June 4th? So, yeah, I would say by the end of June, here in 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have a coach named. And we'll see who it is. I still think Tiago Splitter's got a great chance to keep the position, to be the head coach for the work that he's done. But again, casting a wide net and doing your due diligence, I think, is the right thing. You want to make sure that you talk to as many people as possible because you might come across someone that you were unaware of or didn't realize was going to be such a good fit. Or after talking to them, you realize how dynamic they are. And then you reach out and talk to other people who know of the individual, the work that they've done, and you walk away with a new perspective, different insight. So the search process is good, but there's no pressure for the Blazers to hire someone today. So take your time and make sure you get the hire right. That's really what it comes down to, and the Blazers are doing that. So I'm not alarmed or concerned whatsoever that the Blazers have yet to hire a head coach. All right, let's go out to the phones. Knicks and Spurs, Game 2 tomorrow from San Antonio. And right now the puck is about to drop in Carolina, Game 2, Stanley Cup Finals with Vegas and Carolina. Let's go out to Astoria. David, I appreciate the call. You're up on the Rip City Drive. What's on your mind?
Hey, Chad. Yeah, you mentioned the hockey finals. That's another reason for the coaching delay is our new owner is kind of focused elsewhere at the moment, I think. In terms of the NBA finals game, I think you've nailed it exactly in terms of who the Knicks are. They're more experienced, more disciplined. And, yeah, San Antonio was indeed tired. All you had to do was watch the game to see that. I'm impressed with both teams. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the rest of the games. Have you picked a winner? You laid your nickel down on anybody?
I going into the series, I would have picked San Antonio in 7, but I did say the Knicks were a live dog. So I like the Spurs in a long series, but I acknowledge after watching the way the Knicks handled Game 1 that they've got a legit chance to win this series. No question about it. And the best part for us, David, is that we're going to have a long and what should be a very compelling series, which is cool. All right, David, I appreciate it, buddy. David in Astoria. I do want to give some love. I haven't mentioned him yet, but how about Josh Hart last night? 27 minutes. He had 15 rebounds, 6 assists, played tenacious defense. He didn't shoot the ball well. He was 0-3 from downtown. But that's what I love about Josh Hart, and the reason why I loved him here in Portland. He can have nights where he doesn't hit the shot, but he has such a dramatic impact on the game. His ability to set up his teammates, his rebounding. He's strong. He gets after it defensively. Like, there's just a lot of things to really like about the way he plays. Josh Hart's a stud. And that's what I'm saying. When you watch the Knicks, it's like Hart, Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Robinson. They've got so many guys that play their tail off, and they're just fun to watch. So it's cool, man. I'm totally down. Let's go back out to the phones. Mitch in New Jersey wants to chime in. Mitch, what's up? What's cracking?
What's poppin', Chad? How you doing?
Very well. Nice to hear your voice, Mitch. What's up?
What's up? I tell you, Dodgers, Ohtani.
Oh.
I mean, I want him. They told him I arrest him. He's just DHing. I want him to get another MVP. I mean, he did something that Canseco never did, or Ricky Henderson, 50-50. Well, he's got to pick up the pace with his home runs, but his pitching, I think he's got a better chance for the Cy right now. If he wins at least 12 games and his ERA is below Gibson, below 112, right, with a low amount, that's incredible what he's doing.
Oh, dude, he's going to win the Cy Young. I mean, going into his last two starts against Colorado and Arizona, before those two starts, he had 4 earned runs in 49 innings, and he was sensational last night. He's unbelievable.
I know. And don't rest him the next day. Let him. He's not going to be in the lineup today. He's warming up. He should be batting third. He'll get the more RBIs, but his power will shape up. The guy can steal. He's done anything. He does Bob Gibson, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds all roll into one. Incredible ethic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All the Angels do the thinking, and they should have traded and got something. Now I think the Angels should get something for Mike Trout.
Yeah, you would think. And the great thing about the Dodgers, what makes them they're so sharp in the way they operate, and they got so much talent that what they do, it's pretty simple. But they, if anyone has any hint of any type of injury or an elbow flare-up, they just drop that player instantly on the IL, and then they give them the rest that's necessary to get back because they got the depth and the talent to be able to carry on, and then they allow their guys to be healthy come postseason time. Yeah, they're operating like a machine right now.
They overspent, and I think they should go after Skubal. He's going to walk away from Detroit. They insulted him for $19 million. Guy won Cy Young 2 years in a row. He's out for 3 months. He had chips in his elbow. Trade him because we're getting the age is catching up with the Dodgers. And not yet, but it's around the corner. And I think Glasnow and Snell, they overpay for those two guys. Look at their records. Snell's 46 and 36. That's his career in 10 years. And they gave this guy $30 million, 4 years, 30 million per year. And Snell, he's got 3-4 years above 500. The rest has been, so-so. He gets hurt a lot too. And I wanted to mention about the Rams. If Aaron Donald can come back, we're talking fearsome foursome 2.0. And Joey Bosa's out there too, just to let you know. Hey, if Phillip Rivers can come out after 5 years, Michael Jordan came out of retirement. They were begging Jim Brown 10 years after he retired, and even Sanders. You can come out and give play, starting in September, October, and I think the Rams are just they're looking like the best team in the NFC. Excuse me. But Myles Garrett, that was some trade.
Oh, it's a big-time trade, Mitch, and I appreciate the phone call. And I think it's at least worth a phone call, right? If I'm Sean McVay, and I'm trying to win a championship, and I've got this short window with Matthew Stafford to try and get another title, and you just make this deal for Myles Garrett, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm calling Aaron Donald and just asking, exploratory conversation to see if he would be open to coming out of retirement to play football. And then what I would do is I would let him tailor his schedule to whatever he wants. And that's how I would do it. You want to play home games? No problem. You want to play every other game? Whatever the case may be, just get him in the fold so come postseason time, you got Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett, two of the best defensive players of all time on the same squad. It's genius. So I would definitely make the phone call. Because if you're in the Rams, and this is why they went after Garrett, they know what we know. They have a short window because Stafford is aging. He's got, 1 year left, maybe 2, but 1 for sure. And they're trying to win a title. So I would definitely give the phone call. And the worst he's going to say is, no, I'm not going to do it. But the Rams, the odds-on favorite to win the championship right now after the deal for Garrett. And it's pretty, the great thing about having a guy like Garrett, it's really going to show up in those key moments, postseason time, where you need to get a big stop on third down, obvious passing situation. You got a guy like Garrett who can just unload and get after the quarterback. Like, that's an incredible value. And Myles Garrett's a stud. And the Rams front office, like if you're a Rams fan, you love it because your team's aggressive. They're in it to win it. It's wild, Myles Garrett. But Garrett's great. And for the Browns, they also did the right thing. And how often can we say that? The Browns I credit them for understanding who they were and what their timeline is and making the move to get draft picks because they're looking towards the future. And what they're trying to do is pretty simple. They want to put themselves in a position to have the ammunition to get the quarterback that they're looking for. And if the quarterback's not on the roster and one of these young guys don't pop, then you've got the draft assets to be able to go out and land a Manning or one of the big guys. And that's what they're doing. So I think we'll see with time, but it would appear on paper right now that both teams won in the trade. And it's pretty cool when you get those situations where you can look back and say, hey, both teams did well here. And I like those type of trades where they make sense and you know that both teams put themselves in a position to have success. All right, game two of the Stanley Cup Finals in the first period. And Carolina unable to cash in on a power play opportunity. Scoreless right now with about, let's see here, 7 minutes into the first period. But that crowd, I mean, it's got to be cool for Dundon because when he took over, I think that piece I read, they were getting about 3,000 fans a night. And now they're here in the Stanley Cup Finals, and that place is absolutely packed. That's got to be pretty cool. The atmosphere. And hockey fans are great, too, because they're crazy. They're rabid. And these fans are definitely rabid as well. But Carolina's got a great atmosphere. The arena there, the fans, they're towel waving, like the whole deal. And those hockey players, Stanley Cup Finals are great because the hockey guys play so hard. And they're tough, really tough. And credit to Vegas, too, by the way. Sweep Colorado, get game one of the Stanley Cup Finals on the road in Carolina. They're tough. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday afternoon. Nice weather outside. I've got the golf tournament this week, and I saw where there could be some potential rain and thunderstorms passing through on Saturday, which stinks. Sunday looks like it's going to be okay now. So we'll have to wait and see. And, you know, here in the Northwest, we get that sometimes where usually the weather starts getting better in May, but we still get, you know, like the first couple of weeks of June where we still get some of the, you know, the precipitation. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can jump on board. I'd love to hear your voice. Whatever's on your mind, whatever you want to talk about is fine by me. And then we'll do the bonus segment coming up at 6 with Seth Hoyland of the Hops. He's in Spokane. He took a picture and put it out on social last night. You know, Travis Demers almost got murdered by a baseball that came flying up into the press box out in Spokane, and it stuck in the wall. And that hole in the wall is still in the press box, and Seth took a picture of it. It's pretty amazing. Travis was stunned that the hole is still there. It's now legendary. You got to keep it there. It's almost like a, what do they call that? It's like a landmark. You know, where you something becomes so awesome that you just leave it be. That's what they need to do with that spot in the wall. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Knicks took game one of the finals last night, and Karl Anthony Towns, after the game, talked about the togetherness of this group with the Knicks.
This team has unity. It has camaraderie. And it was special. It was something I thought we showed the world last year. It got us far in the playoffs last year. And just kind of growing off of that from last year, having another year with each other, even more familiarity. You know, last year was a lot of change with me coming to the team, Kale, and just, you know, obviously so many moving parts. So I think it was, you know, it's been something that has been building, and it's been more trust has been built over time. It's just something that has worked tremendously well for us.
Yeah, it certainly has, and it's, you know, you can see it in the way they play. I think the Spurs are pretty well connected as well, but you know, the Knicks, I think a large part of what we've seen with their dominance with this 12-game winning streak in the sharing the basketball, trying to make the right play, no hero ball, and you have guys sharing the basketball, trying to make the right play, no hero ball out there. Even Jalen Brunson, who's the go-to guy, he's a willing passer. And when you have your stars playing like that, it just creates that culture where guys, they want to be a part of it. Now, even some of the role players like Landry Shamet, when they get in, encouraged to be aggressive and to take shots and to be a part of the mix, which is cool. I mean, that's what you want. I like that. I like the togetherness. I like seeing guys play like that. Jalen Brunson, not a good shooting night for him, but he was big in the fourth quarter. And they've shown an ability to come back. And here's a little Q&A on that.
And you guys come back in so many games. Resilience has been the story of your season. Is there a sense of calm or familiarity when you're in that situation, you know, trailing in the second half?
I don't want to say calmness, but I think we know what we have to do. I think we're a pretty together group. Be able to trust each other and still just continue to fight, have each other's back, and just know that we got to keep chipping away, chipping away. It's just a credit to the mentality we have as a team. But I mean, we can't just be satisfied with that. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of things we can do to be better. But I'm happy we came with a win.
We got to like that, to play the way they did in game one and come back and realize that, hey, we got a lot more we can do better. And that's what I thought about the Knicks. I know the Spurs are going to play better ball in game number 2, and they missed a lot of open shots last night. But the Knicks are too. Like, the Knicks did not play their best basketball last night. Great in the fourth quarter, but they've got more in their tank. So I think this series is going to get better. But I think the Spurs got to keep that in mind, that they get ready for game 2. It's like, hey, this group is they didn't play their best game either. We didn't play our best, and neither did they. So just keep that in mind as we press forward to make sure that we're on top of our game here. It's important. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Still scoreless. 11 minutes to go, first period, Carolina and Las Vegas. I have not been, obviously I haven't been to a game at Carolina, but I'd like to go to a Golden Knights game. I've heard that they put on a good show down in Vegas for their hockey inside the arena. My buddy Steve went and said it was awesome. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. One other thing I wanted you to hear, Mike Brown commenting on Karl Anthony Towns. We talked about it yesterday. He's one of the key players that's got to play big for the Knicks. His play on offense, making shots, being a playmaker, pulling Wemby away from the basket, critical. Defensively, he's got to be a plus, and he's got to take advantage of the opportunities to make Wemby work and hopefully win his matchups so that Wemby has to come out on him to draw him away from the basket. He had 4 assists to go along with the double-double. Like, he did everything. He was great. I like Towns too, but Mike Brown talked about his performance.
He was amazing. I mean, the double-double was huge. He came up with some timely buckets for us. He's a problem. You put a small guy on him, he's got a chance to offensive rebound. You put a big guy on him, he's got a chance to pick and pop and go around guys. So we got to just keep trying to move him around based on who's guarding him throughout the course of the ball game. But he was huge for us with his double-double.
Yeah, no question. He was huge, like Karl Anthony Towns. But, the Spurs got a lot of things they got to work on. But that was just a great effort by New York and the comeback. And, again, I think part of that, too, could be their experience, the veteran leadership. They get down by 14, but, they've been there in those situations so often during the course of the postseason that under these circumstances, they're able to make things happen. So they just show good poise. They weren't alarmed or rattled. They were ready to go. And, again, multiple guys stepping up to make game-winning plays. That's the type of basketball I like. We've seen it from the Spurs throughout their playoff run. We saw it from the Knicks last night and throughout their playoff run, and hopefully that's going to bring great drama throughout the course of the rest of the series. All right, we'll come back. You can jump on board. Still time. We'll do a bonus segment at 6 with Seth Hoyland. Oh, little Eagles here. Lion Eyes. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Carolina's got 6 shots on goal. Vegas with 1, but it's still scoreless. But you could tell early on Carolina much more aggressive here in game number 2 and trying to play their style of hockey. 503-248-0620. And the Rip City Drive, of course, back tomorrow at 3 o'clock here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Las Vegas. All right, Las Vegas has just scored the first goal of game number 2. They're up 1-0 with 6 minutes to go first period. And a big moment for Carolina. They got to find a way to scratch out a win tonight to even up the Stanley Cup Finals. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And a couple of missed opportunities right there on goal for Carolina once again. I mean, they have been very aggressive. 6-2 on shots, but they've been unable to cash in. And Vegas, with their 2 shots, get 1 goal. Let's go out to the phones. Mike in Beaverton wants to talk about Tom Dundon. Mike, appreciate the call. You're up on the Rip City Drive. What's on your mind?
Hey, Chad. I just kind of listening to the updates over there on the Stanley Cup. Yeah, I was curious your opinion on, if not to jinx them, but if they do end up winning the Canes this year, do you think that has any sign of, like, any kind of correlation between, like, free agents thinking about Tom taking over the Blazers, or any kind of public image of, like, hey, the proof is in the pudding, might have had to trim some fat or whatnot, but do you think that matters at all?
No, I don't think so. I think players are smart and would recognize the success that Dundon has had in the NHL and realize that he's probably got a formula for success. But I think what players care most about is, number one, money. So, if the Blazers are making a big offer to someone, obviously money's going to matter. And then it comes down to sometimes family and location based on where you want to live. I think the biggest challenge for Portland when it comes to landing free agents is the location geographically being tucked away in the Northwest, being a smaller market, and then not having access to the beautiful sunshine. Now, the one thing that will help, though, is with Dundon, he said he's going to spend on players and not have a budget. If the players know that Dundon's willing to invest in the players and take care of them, then that's going to help when it comes to communicating with guys. Like, for instance, Giannis. Let's take him, for example. If the Blazers were to make a trade for Giannis, the only way that would work is if he agreed to re-sign in Portland. And that's where I think Tom Dundon, his willingness to take care of players, at least if Giannis were to agree to re-signing here, he would know that, hey, I've got an owner that wants to win. He's going to be aggressive. He's got that mindset, and he's going to take care of players. I think that will help. The other thing that helps, too, is culture. A lot of players, if they're, playing in one city, Mike, and then they are looking at going to a different place, they'll call and talk to players. So if someone knows Dame on the team, they'll call Dame and be like, hey, what's Portland like? What's the franchise like? What's the front office like? Do they take care of players? And he'll give them the lowdown. So I think that plays into it too. But I think where it really helps Tom Dundon is, and what I've been trying to encourage Blazer fans with is, he's not an unknown. We're seeing the success that he's had with a team in hockey. That tells me that he might know what he's doing, and that once he gets his, an understanding of the NBA game and how it works, I would say the chances are he's going to be successful there too.
Exactly. I mean, I might be mistaken here, but haven't the Canes made the finals in like a few consecutive seasons, or they've made it a little bit further in the East than they had before?
Yeah, they're deep, getting to the finals this year, but they've been in the postseason every single year since Dundon took over.
Amen. Well, I'm just excited for the Blazers. I really hope we can get competitive again.
Yeah, no doubt. And I appreciate the phone call. And Mike, I've been telling Blazers fans this. I think this is a time to be excited. Because we got a guy in charge who's got a vision, wants to win, is going to be aggressive at making that happen, and let's give him an opportunity to make some decisions, and we'll see how things continue to play out. So I'm thrilled. I'm really excited. I understand funding to get the facelift set up on, Moda Center. That's going to be critical, but I think that deal is going to get done. And then we move on from there. All right, 5:16 to go in the first period. 5:16 to go first period. Vegas on top, 1-0. And once again, Carolina with a power play opportunity. So we'll see if they can cash in on that. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. But yeah, I'm excited. Again, the Carolina was worse off than Portland. Portland's got a pretty good foundation laid, especially on the basketball side when Dundon took over. But, he took over a Hurricane squad that was in disarray, and he's completely turned it around. So I look at that, and I'm like, I understand that hockey and basketball are different, but, you know, guys who are successful, you know, these business owners or these sports owners, the guys who are ultra successful, they're usually successful at many different things that they touch, which is cool. And that's what I'm excited to see. So, you know, I think it's pretty awesome and exciting, and we'll see what happens. What I want to know is like, since he's a new owner, is he trying to make a big splash, like right out of the gate? Meaning, is he going to want to make a big move to go after, you know, a big name player? Is he going to want to go big game hunting? Like, is that going to be the plan? Like, I don't know. You know, I want him to be aggressive too, but, you know, be smart with your aggressiveness. Don't make a move just to make a move. Make one that makes sense, that you truly believe is going to put the team in a position to contend. And the good thing is they're not far off, right? They're coming off a successful year with a winning record, a lot of young talent. So they're moving in the right direction, which is great. And that's what we want. And so far, Carolina unable to, they have not gotten a shot on goal yet with the power play opportunity. They've got a minute left on that, trying to even up the game at 1. Vegas with the first goal. So we'll see. But a big opportunity here. Wow. Man, it's tough. Hockey is nothing but respect for those guys. Crazy. I mean, I played some pickup hockey when I grew up in Colorado, but, you know, we weren't wearing like face masks and pads and stuff. You know, there were no wall. We were playing on an evergreen lake. There were no walls to slam someone up against. And these guys are just, I mean, they're so tough. You know, I just got nothing but respect for them. Jeez. All right, so when we come back, we're got a bonus segment. Seth Hoyland of the Hops is going to join the show, and we'll talk with him as he gets ready for the first pitch with the Hops and the Indians of Spokane, and he's in Spokane right now. And don't forget, every Tuesday we do Hops Ticket Tuesday. It is your chance to get to the new ballpark, Hops Ballpark, and check out a game. And we give away a 4-pack every Tuesday here on the Rip City Drive. Your chance to sit in the Rip City Radio row. And what a beautiful ballpark it is. Seth Hoyland is coming up next. I appreciate your time. You got the Rip City Drive. All right, let's head out to Spokane. The Hops are on fire right now. And joining us, the man who's going to be on the call for the game tonight, Seth Hoyland. Seth, welcome back to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for sending out the picture last night of the place where Travis Demers almost died when the baseball came screaming through the press box and into the side of the wall. And what's even better, the damaged wall is still intact the way Travis left it.
Yeah, it sure is. And I actually have a baseball up here, and you can fit it perfectly through that hole. It has not been touched. There's a little piece of drywall kind of still hanging off, but I don't know the exact year. Travis would probably remember the exact year. Definitely pre-COVID sometime, maybe 2016, 2017. So it's been many, many years. And this place has got some really nice renovations over the past couple seasons, including some of the flooring in the press box. So I think they did that on purpose. Just a little memento there right over my left shoulder. And I look at it every time and think of Travis when I see it.
That's so great, man. The Hops, 7-2 in their last 9, coming off a win last night. They're playing really good baseball right now.
Yeah, playing really good ball, clean baseball, which has helped a lot. As we've mentioned, the struggles with the pitching staff in the beginning of the season and how things kind of changed this point of the minor league season where guys are able to go longer into starts. They're able to throw 80, maybe even 90 pitches in a game, whereas, at the beginning of the season, the pitch counts are pretty tight, and it can make things a lot more difficult on the bullpen at the beginning of the season. But, yeah, the Hops really having a lot of success hitting clutch runners in scoring position has been really good for this team. You look at their batting average on the year, it's last in the Northwest League, but they're number 1 in batting with runners in scoring position. So been really clutch this year, especially over the past couple weeks, and a lot of 2-out rallies, including another one last night that helped them to that 4-2 win.
All right, what do you think about the pitching matchup tonight? We got LeBaron Johnson taking on Wellington Arsenia.
Yeah, Wellington Arsena is a really interesting prospect in the Diamondback system. You look at the Hops starting rotation now, it's a lot of the Diamondback top prospects. I think 4 of the 5 guys in the rotation this week are top 30 prospects. And Wellington was acquired in a trade with the Baltimore Orioles last year. So this is his first year in the organization. He's a really hard-throwing right-hander, young guy, just 21 years old. He's the Diamondbacks' number 24 prospect, and he was acquired back in July of 2025 from the Orioles. But he consistently hits 97, 98 as a starter with this fastball, as a two-seam fastball, cut fastball, slider, change. So kind of a 5-pitch guy who really mixes things up out there, and control obviously being a huge thing with him, being able to throw hard and also keeping the ball in the zone. And then LeBaron Johnson is the starter for Spokane. He's actually one of 3 guys on their roster from the University of Texas. So interesting, as of course the Ducks open their super regional against Texas. So they have 3 different guys who went to University of Texas. We have one guy on our team who went to University of Oregon, Rio Britton. He'll be starting later in the week, so I'm sure they'll be keeping an eye on those games this weekend. But LeBaron Johnson had primarily been a reliever, but he'll get the start here today. And we've seen him a couple times over the past couple years.
That's pretty awesome. Seth Hoyland in Spokane, getting ready for the Indians and Hops coming up here in just a few minutes on your home of the Hops, Rip City Radio 620. Did you get a chance to watch any of the highlights or watch the replay of the basketball game 1 of the finals after the baseball game last night?
Oh, yeah, of course. That was one of the first things I did. I mean, I was keeping an eye on the score kind of here and there. Obviously heard you mentioned Brunson went out and then came back in and, saw that the Spurs were in control. And then I looked again and the Knicks were up by 5 and boom, the game was over. So, I mean, that's I wouldn't say that's what I expected. I mean, I do think the Knicks will win the series. I think the teams match up very similar to each other. Obviously, you look at the Knicks on the bench, having guys like Jordan Clarkson, Jose Alvarado. I mean, they are really, really key to that team. And obviously, you look at, tomorrow's game. If the Spurs fall down 0-2, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to say, I mean, they could be in big, big trouble. Again, I'll be really interested to see how both of the teams play at the Garden, but especially the Spurs young team with the biggest spotlight in the game, obviously playing in the finals, but then also seeing how those young players will perform at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And, most of the players that you hear from who have played, they all acknowledge that playing in New York is great with their fans there and what that building means. And, of course, New York being such a basketball-rich area. I just have a lot of fun. I'm into drama. I want the best possible matchup because I don't have a dog in the fight. So I just want a long series. And I have a lot of fun watching the Knicks play. Like, I like this group. You know how certain teams you just kind of you watch, you're like, I kind of like the way they go about their business. That for me, that's the Knicks right now. I like the way they play together.
I totally agree. And even when I was working for the Blazers, we'd see, pretty much every team come through on any given season. And I had one coworker that we'd always joke with, he'd be excited when the best player on the other team wasn't playing. Obviously gives the Blazers a better chance of winning. And I wanted the Blazers to win every game too. But I'm in that same boat. I want to see the best players. I want to see the best teams at their best, regardless of if my team is playing or not. And I do think we have that in this series. Obviously, if Jalen Brunson had to miss time, that would be a huge miss. But I think you have, the two best teams left in it, and obviously with Wemby and the team ball that the Knicks play, and again, looking at the Knicks bench, I think Tom Thibodeau not running the starters into the ground, playing them 45 minutes a game, and you actually have a bench that you can use, and then you have the starting five that the Knicks have. They're a very, very well balanced team.
Well, the last time we talked about Ohtani was before his last two starts against Colorado and last night against Arizona. And I just continue to be amazed at what we're seeing right now. And, of course, you've been watching baseball your whole life, Seth. Like, what he's doing right now, pitching-wise, is truly blowing my mind. He's got 61 innings under his belt. He's got 5 earned runs, and his ERA is .74. Like, this guy is on a mission to win the Cy Young. I'm blown away by it.
Yeah, and we right after the game yesterday, they had it down in the clubhouse and kind of the commissary area downstairs, and there was guys on the team just kind of gathered around, and everyone just kind of shaking their head as they put Ohtani's stats up there on the screen. They're like, his ERA is what? I mean, he had a scoreless outing yesterday and barely lowered his ERA on the year. I mean, his ERA is what, sub 8 or .80 now after a good game against the Diamondbacks yesterday. But he also reached base 5 times in yesterday's game. He had 3 hits, 2 walks, getting on base at a high clip. It's incredible. It seems like every time you think you've seen it all from him, he kind of one-ups it. I mean, the Dodgers have definitely gotten their money's worth. Obviously, that massive contract and some of the other, endorsements that Ohtani has, and obviously the huge story around him deferring all the money and stuff. But don't get that wrong. I mean, the Dodgers have gotten every penny out of that deal, and what a special talent he is.
No question about it, and some. Seth Hoyland with the Hops. He's in Spokane getting ready for the Indians and Hops. Coming up here in a few minutes on Rip City Radio 620. So we just had someone win Hops tickets on the show on Tuesday, and they're going to go to their first game at the brand new ballpark. So who are some of the prospects that you're excited about right now that people should keep an eye on if they're heading out to the park here in the near future?
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about the Northwest League in general. I mean, obviously, we love to talk about the guys who have played for our team, the 71 former players who have played in a Hops uniform since 2013. We throw that out there all the time. Very proud of those guys who have played on our team and made it to the bigs, but there's also some incredible talent around the Northwest League, guys playing against us, playing on the other side. Again, the main thing, you look at the Mariners. I mean, the Mariners roster, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, all those guys came through Everett. There's some big prospects who have come through here with Spokane. Obviously, some names that people maybe don't recognize as much because they're with the Rockies, but there's been some guys who have come through there. Next week we play Tri-City, and actually the number 2 overall pick in last year's draft out of UC Santa Barbara, Tyler Bremner, was drafted by the Angels number 2 overall, and he's on the Tri-City roster. He's been really impressive to begin this season. The Los Angeles Angels, of course, they do things a little bit differently. If you remember a couple years back, they drafted all pitchers with all 20-something picks that they had in that draft. But historically speaking, they've been the only organization that have kind of skipped guys over this level. So they'll send somebody from the California League straight to AA, which is really unheard of. I mean, pretty much any player who goes through the minor league system comes through our level of ball. And this year they kind of switched their approach. So all the top prospects who normally would go straight to AA are in Tri-City this year. So there's a couple other guys who are Angels top prospects who are on that team as well, and we'll see them next week. But I don't know if you saw, Chad, but actually Cal Raleigh is rehabbing with the Everett AquaSox. So Everett is playing against Eugene this weekend, and Cal's supposed to be catching and in the lineup on Sunday. So I'll definitely keep an eye on that one. I think it's a 4:05 first pitch, so we'll be on the bus ride home, be able to tune into that one. And I heard that game sold out in like 10 minutes when all the Seattle fans found out that he was going to be making his rehab, and sounds like he's close to returning to the Mariners lineup.
Isn't that awesome though? Like when you're in one of those towns or close by where you can catch one of the big leaguers doing their rehab assignment, to see them in person, because a lot of those like we know with Hobbs Ballpark, you're in a much more intimate environment. And so to see them up close like that and have that type of access, like there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And obviously Everett being so close to where Seattle is, about 30 miles north of Seattle, they get a lot of rehab appearances. Last year we faced off against Everett in Everett, and J.P. Crawford was playing for them. He was making a rehab appearance. And then earlier this year, Mariners pitcher Bryce Miller was making a rehab start, and he started against us, so I was able to see him pitch, and he's pitched very well since his return to the Mariners rotation. So, yeah, you just never know. And a lot of those guys, both Bryce Miller and Cal Raleigh, played for Everett when they were coming up through the minor leagues. So kind of goes back to our conversation before of, there's guys like that you see in the minors that this guy's going to make it to the majors. And then there's guys who end up surprising you a couple years down the road, that end up making it, and you would have never known. But again, that's the great thing about minor league baseball. No matter if you're a first-round pick and you got $10 million in the bank, or if you're an undrafted guy that got a plane ticket and a couple $100 to come play baseball, they both have a chance. So that's always fascinating to see the different stories and where they end up.
How's the weather right now out in Spokane?
It's nice. It's probably the nicest that we've had of the 3 days. Yesterday was overcast. We had a little bit of rain showers in the ninth inning yesterday. We're able to get the game in. Right now, looking out in the outfield, the U.S. and Canadian flags blowing in hard from right field, so there is some wind blowing in, but some clouds in the skies, but otherwise beautiful conditions here, about 70 degrees.
That's great. How does the ball fly out there compared to Hobbs Ballpark?
It historically, the ball flies pretty well here, especially in the summer. Out here in eastern Washington, Spokane and Tri-City, the ball flies well. Now, Tri-City had a further fence dimensions. They've since brought their fence way in, so the ball flies a lot better there. Here down the right field line, you have a true short porch in right field, just 296 feet to the right field foul pole. That fence is only about 5 feet tall out there. So really anything that's up in the air to right field that has any sort of lift or carry to it is going to leave the yard. The fence is tall, though, around the rest of the yard. We've seen a couple balls kind of clank right off the top of the fence. I don't know the exact dimensions. It's probably about 12 or 13 feet high, 370 to right, 401 to center, and then 370 to left. So pretty straight-up dimensions here, but really just depending on the way that the wind is blowing, obviously affects if the ball's flying out or not. And then also in the summertime, it can get really hot here, and that's when the ball really, really carries.
Oh, and by the way, you mentioned Cal Raleigh. You got to like the way the Mariners are playing now. They kind of got out of their funk a bit, and they've been on fire of late. The Mets snapped their winning streak, but I feel pretty good about this series coming up starting tomorrow in Detroit.
Yeah, the Mariners playing really good ball, obviously getting, some of those guys back into their rotation. I mean, you look at the Mariners rotation. I mean, it's been this way for years, obviously, but it's just tough guy after tough guy after tough guy. And then, you have someone in the back of the bullpen like Andres Munoz, who you can count on every night to get the job done. It's really been piecing together the lineup, and obviously without Cal Raleigh in the lineup, despite his struggles at the beginning of the season, it's still a gaping hole in that lineup, having a guy who was the AL MVP runner-up last year. I thought he should have won it last year, but anytime you miss him, regardless of if he's hitting, 180 this year or not, that's a big miss. So playing good ball and getting Cal back probably sometime next week, things are definitely looking up for the M's.
All right. Seth Hoyland, Hillsborough Hops, and Indians coming up here in just a couple of minutes on Rip City Radio 620. Seth, I appreciate your time, buddy. Enjoy the game tonight.
You got it. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Love Seth. Have a good call. We got Hops Baseball coming up next. Big thanks to Michael Shacker, John Bladholm, and all of you for listening. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the hockey, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Rip City Drive at 3, and we'll do a full breakdown on game number 2 of the NBA Finals, and I think Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio, I might be able to convince him to join the program as well. All right, you guys have a good night. I'll catch you tomorrow here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Enjoy the Hops Baseball.